Hey everybody, so I've tried to make this video a couple times, but I keep getting text messages that pop up and it stops the video process. So hopefully I don't, this sounds stupid, but hopefully I don't get any text messages for the next few minutes. I'm going to try and make this a faster video. So if you've seen my last videos, you know that I am just super excited and super happy about everything that's going on with the adoption process. Everything is going really well. We have a few things left. We have the in-home interview, the second in-home interview with the safety inspection, which looks like it's probably going to be sometime the first week of January, which is awesome. The only thing we have to do really is to get a more permanent fireplace cover thing, because we only have the grate that you can move. We have to have something that's more stable than that. So we're looking at that right now. And what else? What else is? Dang. Oh, Jeremy has to take his first aid CPR class, and his physical is tomorrow. And then we have to send in our dear birth parent letter, a copy of my driver's license, and a life photo album that I still have to make. So especially if you're on my Facebook, you know that I have been super duper excited and just all around happy. The only thing that has been kind of a hang up for us is the dear birth parent letter. And the reason that has been a hang up is not because we didn't want to do it, is more because it was really hard to do. And I feel like it shouldn't necessarily have been hard, but then when you think about it, of course it's going to be hard, because realistically, basically you're writing a letter to someone who is pregnant with a child that they weren't necessarily planning for, and they're considering different options and not necessarily have decided yet. So it's a hard letter for them to read, I'm sure, because this is the hardest decision for most of these birth parents that they're ever going to make. So, I really wanted to let them know that we realize it is a very, very difficult decision. However, I've never considered giving a child up for adoption, so I don't even know how difficult that would be. I can't put myself there. I can't be truly empathetic to that. I can be sympathetic to it, but I can't be empathetic to it, and that's really tough for me. So I struggled for a while to find the words that let the birth parents know that I realize it is very, very difficult, but to also let them know that I wasn't assuming that I knew how hard it was going to be for them. So that was difficult. And also, so that's part of the letter. And then there's also the fact that you're basically trying to tell them enough about yourself and who you are, what your family is like, what your house is like, that kind of thing, to realize somewhat what kind of parents you'll be, and letting them know what you're like, so that hopefully their sense of who you are will lend them to choosing you as adoptive parents for their baby. So there's a lot in the letter, and it's not supposed to be very long. It's supposed to be a letter, so not a novel, which, I don't know about you, but when you're trying to describe yourself from the point that you met your significant other, why you want to adopt, who they are, who you are, what you're going to do when you have children, what your house is like, what your family's like, why, all these things, you could go on and on and on. So our birth parent letter ended up being 2 pages, which they ask you to really try and keep it to 1, but I couldn't do it. I felt like there wasn't anything in a letter that was a page long. So we finally got it done, and I am pretty pleased with it. There's a few things that I want to edit, add, or take out, but other than that, I think it's pretty much done. And I may or may not post, like, read it here. I don't know yet. Just because it's personal. It's a very personal letter. It has a lot about my husband and I, and it has a lot about, you know, who we are and why we want to adopt and that kind of thing, which obviously there's a lot on here on YouTube that I've shared, but I just don't know if I'm going to share this part, read the adoption letter, birth parent letter. So we finally got it done. What I ended up doing, for those of you who are watching this because you are struggling as well, I ended up not writing the paragraph or so that kind of acknowledges who they are and what they're going through. I waited to do that. And I basically wrote, Dear Sarah, which is one of my friends. And I just wrote her a letter. I wrote a letter to my friend going back from the time that I met my husband, and we just went from there. It was a letter to my friend with the whole ins and outs of how we met and what we did when we were dating, what we like to do, that kind of thing, which she already obviously knows those things. But when I read it back, it felt much more like a letter to a friend than like a letter trying to sell my husband and myself to a birth parent as adoptive parents. So, and I really didn't want it to sound like that. So that's what worked for us. And then I went back and put in my opening paragraph, I acknowledged, you know, who they are and how difficult the decision must be and that kind of thing. So it worked out really nicely. And then obviously I took out Dear Sarah and put in Dear Birth Parent. And that was it. So it worked out really well for us. And we're super excited. So that is that. And I will leave you guys now. So have a good day. If you have any questions about birth parent letters, please feel free to let me know. If you really would like to hear the birth parent letter, please feel free to let me know, and I will consider reading it. I am considering reading it, but if there's anybody that it might help, it might sway me. So if that's something you would like to see, let me know, and I'll think about it. So I will talk to you all later. Have a lovely, lovely day, and stay safe, because people are going crazy about the end of the world thing, which I don't believe in. So talk to you later. Bye.